Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gashi's Kaiman TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. The choice of a running mate can break or make a president. The choice of a running mate will determine how Kenyans are going to vote for that presidential candidate. It is in the running mate that the election will be won and lost. We have been talking about the presidential candidates. We have heard the name of David Maraga. We have heard the name of Fred Okengo Matiangi, William Samoei RUTO, Cyril Kalonzo Musyoka, and Gachagua Rigathi as actually the top contenders on the House of the Throne. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want us to look at the debate about the running mates. I want us to look very, very keenly because, as I've said, if you make the wrong choice, you are not going to win the presidency. And I think Raila Amolo Odinga could have made the wrong choice in 2027. And I want us to look very, very keenly to see what this means when it comes to nominating a running mate. A running mate must bring votes. A running mate must be perceived in a positive way by Kenyans. A running mate must be somebody who can actually step in when the president is not there. I remember when Rigathi Gachagua was the deputy president, fear was planted among Kenyans that Rigathi Gachagua could not make a good president. And Kenyans, up to this moment, a number of them, quite a good number, strongly believe that Rigathi Gachagua cannot make a president. And I remember that is the narrative that was sold when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached. But this was just propaganda, because when William Samoei RUTO was nominating him as his running mate, he knew very well that Rigathi Gachagua would be just a heartbeat away from the presidency. So, who are these running mates that in my view, I strongly believe can make a presidential candidate carry the day in 2027? I want to look at the Mulebe Nation. I've always said that the election will be won and lost in the Mulebe Nation. If it is the opposition candidate is likely to nominate George Natembeya, who is the Trans Nzoia governor, Busia Senator, who is Okiya Omtatah, or somebody may be attracted to Eugene Wamalwa. But among the three, if you are the presidential candidate, without saying whether you are Matiangi, whether you are Kalonzo, whether you are Gachagua, whom would you vote? Whom do you go for as your running mate? I would bet with George Natembeya. I would bet with George Natembeya because he is capable of bringing numbers. He understands statecraft. He understands the way the government is run. He understands the way government operates. The man is courageous. The man is charismatic. And when it comes to all this, he ticks the box. That would be my choice. And again, I know if George Natembeya is my running mate, he would bring me votes. Mulebe Nation is the second largest voting bloc in Kenya. And whoever is going to win the Mulebe Nation is easily going to clinch the presidency. But can these guys work with William Samoei RUTO? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. The answer is yes. In politics, anything is possible. William Samoei RUTO can also decide to actually go for Natembeya, Wamalwa, or Omtatah. But can he win the presidency if he chooses, say, Natembeya? My answer would be no. So the three choices, that is Wamalwa, Natembeya, and Omtatah, it is the opposition that is going to make that choice. That is the truth of the matter. Now, we look at another combination, because you see, you have to be very, very keen when it comes to regions. We come to Mount Kenya. Whom would you choose in Mount Kenya if you are told to choose a running mate? There is Rigathi Gachagua. There is Martha Karua. And there is Peter Munya. Whom would you vote? Or if you are the presidential candidate, whom would you go for? I would go for Gachagua. Many people would say they would go for Peter Munya. The reason why I'd go for Gachagua is already the kingpin of the mountain. Gachagua has the money. He has the deep pockets. He's a very good mobilizer. And he's a very good person when it comes to attacking the opponent. When it comes to hard tackle, he's likely to give the opponent hard time. I doubt if Peter Munya would do the work that Gachagua is doing. And now, when it comes to international connections, when it comes to networks, I think Rigathi Gachagua is the man I would choose from the Mulima Nation. Then, there is Matiangi and Kalonzo as running mate. Without saying who will be the presidential candidate. If you are the presidential candidate, I still ask you the same question. Given Kalonzo and Matiangi, whom would you choose as your running mate? Ladies and gentlemen, I would go for Kalonzo. I know many people expect me to say Matiangi. Matiangi is best suited as a presidential candidate, but not a running mate. The reason why I would go for Kalonzo, between Kalonzo and Matiangi, is because Kalonzo has a big constituency behind him. Kalonzo comes with about 3 million votes. Kalonzo is experienced. Kalonzo is courageous. Kalonzo is no longer the watermelon that you used to know. He is a principled politician. And William Samoei Ruto, in fact, William Samoei Ruto has been trying to woo Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to be his running mate. But Kalonzo has stood his ground. That is why I would go for Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Then comes the side of William Samoei Ruto. William Samoei Ruto would most likely choose somebody from the Mulebe Nation. And he'll be torn between Kithure Kindiki, Musalia Mudavadi, Gladys Wanga, Raila Amolo Odinga, and Ali Hassan Joho, among the 5 people that I've mentioned. If you are William Samoei Ruto and you want to win the votes, whom would you choose? Because if Raila and Ruto are going to go together, it is ODM that is going to produce the candidate. In this case, Mudavadi is out. So you leave it to Joho, you leave it to Gladys Wanga, you leave it to Raila Amolo Odinga, and that is where the choice will be made by William Samoei Ruto, because ODM is going to choose the presidential candidate. Now you then come to Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga is the one who is going to determine who will be Ruto's running mate, if it is ODM that is going to provide the running mate. Who do you think Raila Amolo Odinga is going to choose? In my view, it is Gladys Wanga. If you look at Gladys Wanga and William Samoei Ruto, they seem to have a rapport, they seem to have a chemistry, they seem to have a good working relationship. William Samoei Ruto has visited Homa Bay County many times. And the reason why I would go for Gladys Wanga is because I expect that person to be supported by Raila Amolo Odinga. If William Samoei Ruto decide to go for a running mate in ODM without the support of Raila Amolo Odinga, without the endorsement of Raila Amolo Odinga, he will not carry the day. But there is one thing I want to say about a running mate. There is a running mate who would make you president, especially the opposition, in the morning. That person is youthful. That person has been exciting the youth. That person will be the future president of this nation. And the man is none other than Babu Owino. If you are a presidential candidate and you go for Babu Owino, I'm telling you, you win the day in the morning. You win the day in the morning. Even Edwin Sifuna has not been mentioned. But if Babu Owino will not be there, I would go for Edwin Sifuna as my running mate if I'm in the opposition. Without saying which opposition candidate I'm talking about, without saying which presidential candidate I'm talking about from the opposition, without mentioning his name, without saying whether it is Kalonzo, Gachagua, Matiangi, Maraga, or whoever, I would advise that person to go for Babu Owino, and he'll win with a landslide. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? That is my take. I could be right, I could be wrong. What do you think? Please like the video, comment, share, and have a blessed evening. Till next time, adios.